This week on The Loudest Voice, we have a three-way tie. Yes, we couldn't decide which one, and we figured let's just give it to all three because we're talking about the same issue, and all three of these voices are important in one way or another, and we're going to play all three of them for you. The tide is turning. The tide is turning regarding Israel. We don't know if the policy is going to change, but we do know that it has been a little bit more acceptable to be in a position of power and have an opinion about Israel that isn't so rosy and peachy. And that's nice to hear. And it's nice to hear certain people in ranks of power call out Israel. The first one we're going to play is Matt Gaetz. Now, Matt Gaetz is a former congressman, so it makes it a little easier for him to get away with some of this. But we don't see too many former congressmen or senators or presidents ever talk about this stuff either. So it is still very rare. But we'll start with him. Matt Gaetz recently went on a podcast. And on the podcast, he revealed that it's nearly impossible to hold office if you oppose Israel. And this goes for Democrats and Republicans. If you do oppose it in any way, you face tremendous, as he says his own words, tremendous headwinds to get into government and retaliation for sure. So he's saying it, what we already knew. It's not a reveal to us, but it's nice that we're hearing him say it. And it's going out to a younger generation. And again, this is part of the idea that we're feeling like the tide is turning and it's okay to talk like this now. Let's hear what he had to say. It's a very young podcast that he went on, and never mind the guy sitting next to him in the mask. That's an actor being paid to do that. It's part of the gimmick of the podcasters. But let's hear him say it for himself. Here we go.
If I want to get into government, do I have to support Israel?
You know, the Israel lobby has an incredible power over the decisions that government makes. And what we've seen is on the left or on the right, if you question the policies of the Israeli government, legitimately, people will accuse you of anti-Semitism. And that is weird and wrong and kind of unlike anything else we see anywhere else. Now, there are legitimate expressions of concern regarding the anti-Semitism that we see on college campuses. But I got to tell you, no one's asked me the question that directly. And the truth is, if you oppose the U.S.-Israel relationship, you face tremendous headwinds to get into government, not just appointed government, but elected government as well. Dude, it's moving. And
what is
the thing? It's
Wow. The tide is turning here. The fact that he can say this out loud. This is a guy, conservative, red, MAGA guy. Who knows? Maybe that's why he didn't get the position after all. He was switched out. He might have had some critique that he said he's too much critique at the time. Now he can go on these podcasts and say this stuff. We don't see Democrats doing this. I got to say, like the three that we're playing for you guys in the loudest voice that all tied for loudest voice of the week, none of them are progressives. None of them are Democrats. So that's something of note. You ready for the second one? Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let's just see what she has to say. We knew that she had voted or said, I'm going to get rid of this. We're not going to let this vote go through in the House. It was a bill that was going to make anti-Semitism, which they call anybody who is protesting genocide, anybody who is doing voicing that they want to in their college campuses, that they want to defund investment. It's called divestment in anything to do with Israel. That would be given a $1 million fine to that person. And this is American citizens. She said, no, absolutely not. 20 years in prison and or $1 million in fine. She said, hell no. That bill got thrown out. Thank God. It was people like Marjorie Taylor Greene that got it thrown out because she was very vocal. Well, let's hear what she has to say about Israel in general. after that bill got thrown out. Here we go.
We should be fighting wars on behalf of Israel. And many Americans agree with that. I'm one of those Americans that are really sick and tired of the narrative that we're constantly told that we're supposed to hate some country that's overseas that maybe we've never been to. We don't know anything about that country, but we're told that they're the greatest threat to our freedoms and our democracy, and that we have to go to war with them. I've never seen a Houthi or a Houthi or however you pronounce it. I don't even know what they look like. I haven't seen them back home in Rome, Georgia, where I live. I haven't seen them in Washington, D.C. And I keep saying that, how is this a threat to everyday Americans when they are not threatening us here at home on our homeland?
Wow. I'm telling you guys, that's something we would not have heard. Well, we certainly wouldn't have heard a year and a half ago. We know that when October 7th happened. We know that this is, and again, like, who would have guessed that when we did start hearing people talk like this? And this is Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's in office right now. He's not Matt Gaetz, who's out of office and then going on a podcast. She's throwing this up on her social media herself. She's not afraid to say this. Again, we're not seeing change of policy, but we're seeing that it's okay now. The tide is turning and it's okay to call out Israel. That's what we're seeing. And we didn't want to leave it there. These are two people that you guys know have been staunch conservatives, MAGA people. They get made fun of all the time, both of them, for being too far right wing. Is it too far right wing to be tired of Israel controlling our foreign policy? Is that right wing? Apparently it is. Apparently it is. Well, why don't we step out for the third one that ties the top three this week for Loudest Voice of the Week? They're all conservative voices calling this out. The last one we're going to show you comes from outside of the U.S. This one's the best one. We saved you guys the best one for last. This is a UK conservative MP. He's Mark Pritchard. And he says that he got it wrong. He got Israel wrong. And he's changing his mind. Yes, if you guys if you guys were thinking at all that the tide wasn't turning and things are just exactly the way they are, you might be right when it comes to policy. But to be able to say this stuff out loud, it's pretty remarkable that this is happening right now. Here it is from his own mouth. Mark Pritchard, UK conservative, saying he got it wrong about Israel. Take a look.
Supported Israel pretty much at all costs, quite frankly. But today, I want to say that I got it wrong. And I condemn Israel for what it is doing to the Palestinian people in Gaza and indeed in the West Bank. And I'd like to withdraw my support right now for the actions of Israel, what they are doing right now in Gaza. Of course the hostages should be released. Of course that Israel has the right to exist. Of course the Israeli people, the Jewish people should have the right to live in peace. But so do the Palestinian people. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, that the life of a Palestinian child is as precious as the life of a Jewish child.
Wow. Three conservatives saying, well, in this case, Pritchard saying, I got it wrong. This is my red line. As RFK Jr. told us on October 8th, 2023, no red line for Netanyahu. Unprovoked attack, blah, blah, blah. We knew that was bullshit at the time. We knew that. This is somebody who probably agreed with that at the time. Now he's saying, no, I hit my red line. I've hit it. Now, are these people just now realizing this and saying it? No, they're not stupid. They know. And every other member of Congress here in the U.S., every member of parliament in the UK, they know too. They're not stupid. They didn't just figure this out because of the recent feed coming live from Gaza of completely destroyed. Everything's gone. Their hospitals bombed, schools gone, journalists targeted, gone, perfectly put together neighborhoods gone. They don't exist. They're gone. 2 million people starving to death, gone. They knew about it. It's only now they are allowed to say something. Conservative voices saying something. To me, that's a big deal. It gets us thinking. It gets other right-wingers who had no interest in being critical on Israel at all seeing these people talk like this gets them kind of shaken up. And that's a good thing too. So let's keep these conversations going. And if you have a position of power like these people do, it's good, even if it's too late, it's good to use that position to say what's right. Even if you didn't do it at the right time, doing it now, at least it's given us something. And I'm okay with that for now. We have to still fight for policy change. That hasn't happened yet. But the fact that if we can call out Israel right now, let's keep doing it. But yeah, that's a three-way tie this week. The tide is turning for conservative voices around the world are coming out and saying enough with Israel. Enough. They're drawing the red line. And that is Loudest Voice of the Week.